Namaste, Samaste. Let us pray and bow to our beloved Gurudev, beloved Sri Guruji, all masters of the lineage, and all masters of the world religions of all places and all times. Let us bow to each other also, remembering the divine presence within. Friends, we are in the midst of a crisis, and this crisis gives us the strength, gives us the willpower to conquer the crisis. Today's topic, Aparigraha, non-possession. Simpler words, the meaning is to have limited possessions in life, not unlimited possessions. Limited as much as required, not to possess more than the necessity. When we think of the possession, let us think of the history of the possession and how many kinds of possessions are there. Our eye can see the visible possessions. My family, my property, my society, my nation, my government. These are all visible possessions. My territory of the state, my city, but invisible possession in the memory. The karma sheets, that is the greatest burden of the possession. Human life is a journey of acquiring possessions. And our chitta chest continues to grow. But the visible property is only for the enjoyment of one life. But that property is for life after life, life after life to enjoy. However, today we shall discuss on the visible possessions. If you study the history of mankind, it is nothing other than the history of possession. The very moment human beings felt that they are distinguished from the animal kingdom, the bird's kingdom, they wanted to maintain a kind of distinction, an identity, so that they will be proud human beings on the planet. Behind this pride, first, the system of fooding. When I was an animal, living like the animal, I mean my forefathers, they are forefathers, living on raw flesh, raw fruit, raw vegetables, raw roots, raw fish. I must be decent. I must be civilized. I must have a kitchen. I shall go for cooking. They discover the fire, whetted up this desire of the human being to become distinguished from the animal kingdom. With the help of the fire, men and women, they started evolving a kitchen. Possession begins. I want a oven, I want a this plate, I want this pot, I want that horn, I want some spoon. Varieties of possessions. Go to anybody's kitchen and find hundreds of kinds of possessions. Kitchen, the brilliant primary situation where we started acquiring kitchen tools. It is the natural history people, when they suspect an area that the civilization has embodied there, they dug up and they find kitchen tools. And they start drafting the history of the then times. Man is not happy with limited kind of food, limited number of fruits, limited number of vegetables. They started preparing dishes. You'll be surprised to know in the world today, we have thousands and thousands of varieties of dishes. In India alone, more than 3,000 varieties of dishes. Why? Why is man is inventing everyday kind of dish? Because the palate, to please the palate. As long as pleasing the palate is there, possessions will keep on continuing. Journey of the man is the journey of acquiring possessions, both in the invisible level and the visible level. So ultimately one day we have to do something, go for a penance for dispossessing, displacing such possessions, both from the memory and for our material family life, to be dispossessed of. Fooding, food system. You look, McDonald's, it has become an international trade. That yellow M, that symbol symbolizes our desire for food. Varieties of food. Varieties of food for various categories of people. Oh, these devotees will eat this kind of food. Followers of this religion will eat this kind of food. Followers of that religion will take that kind of food. People of this society, people of this sect, this section shall eat this kind of food. Men, nations, followers of the religions can be identified from the identity of their food, from their food habits. Then another area, clothing. Our birds are not wearing. Even the polar bear has no woolen coats. Crocodile cannot have a wearing. Tigers, lions, wolves, they don't have. Men, women, they wanted to have clothings. The march of civilization, the march of new clothings, still newer aristocratic attires. Varieties of clothings. Still women are craving for new varieties of clothings. If you look to the fashion designs, if you look to their advertisements, you'll be amazed as to how a kind of madness is gripping the mind of the modern man to have newer clothes, costly clothes. When the men and women do not have a plate of food, we go for clothings. Those are thousands of rupees worth more. Even some $500,000 clothings. Costing $500,000, some clothings costing $500,000. The point is to suggest man is not wearing a simpler clothing just to put on as a cover, but for seasons, varieties of clothings. Not one sweater, one woolen garment, varieties. Not one shawl, varieties. Why? Varieties, because of there is a various desire in the mind. To please one desire, one shape, intention, we are going for a kind of dress, a clothing. If you go to any market, anywhere, in any city in the world, clothing markets, they dominate. What the man is doing with? Man is mad after the clothing. Clothing gives him an aristocracy, a pride, a position, an identity in the earth. People want to be smart. I am wearing better clothing than my other friends. I am using a clothing of a different brand, world #1 brand. I am mad after the brand, clothing. This is the second step where men and women wanted to be different from that of the animal kingdom and the birds kingdom. Both men and women, human beings, animals and the birds, all go for homemaking, procreation, for a continuity of the progeny to make the wheel of civilization move. But apart from that, men and women go for house making. Not only homemaking, but house making. Animal, they don't choose a house. They don't have a house. They have never built any kind of house. Thousand years ago, tiger was roaming in the jungle, in the woods, sleeping either in a cave or in a valley or under the grove. But nomads, when abandon the woods, abandon that area, abandon the valley, they built up villages, a network of houses. They built cities, a wonderful network of the houses, apartments, both the vertical villages and that of the horizontal villages. Men are after various designs. When we are building Sri Guru Mandir, we come to know how many kinds of marbles are there, how many kinds of materials are there for making the houses, how many kinds of designs are there which could be employed to beautify a house. One businessman in India has a house worth thousands of rupees. But there's another house Sri Guruji has built on the campus of Hariharananda Gurukulam. It's just a cottage, a thatched house. Thousands of rupees only. So there's a great difference between the housemaking skill, housemaking, say, ideas. There's a great difference. Homemaking, common to birds, common to that of the animals, common to human being. But in addition to the homemaking, there's a housemaking. Man is not contented with one house. He wants many houses, many houses. I remember one experience in my life. I was in USA under the invitation of Kriya Yoga Institute, approved by Sri Guruji. I was in the residence of Yogacharya Durgama. At her basement, Kriya initiation was taken in the morning. The second session, teaching was to take place. I found one of a couple has not come. I asked, hey, why your wife has not come? He told me a sad story. Baba, what to do? When my wife visited this house, I want such a kind of house, otherwise I will not go for initiation, no teaching. Possession, spirit of possession. We may say, yes, spirit of possession is the spirit of civilization. But to think of possession is a mad person, as a madman, as a mad woman, is not worthwhile, the spirit of possession. I must be considerate. I must be careful how far I can go, how far I can spend my money for building a house. If building a house creates a problem for my society, it encourages people to become envious. If it encourages people to become stupid, then that house is not a house of blessing, it's a house of curse. Let my behavior, let my social behavior, my house building should express a kind of living, should express a kind of simplicity that will encourage others not to go for this madness of possessions. I should help others. They should help ourselves. Living in togetherness. Housing has become a question of possession. Not content with one house, in one city, in one country, at various places. Those who earn more money through other processes, they want to have houses everywhere. At London city is house, in Switzerland another, in Los Angeles another, in Tokyo another, In Sydney, another, and several places in India. An Indian businessman's dream. This might be the dream of others. I need not worry about that. I'm talking of an example which I have heard of, I have learned of. At many places. But jokingly one day, to create a sense of humor, Sri Guruji said that he is the richest man on earth, have number of houses spread over all continents. People were surprised. Baba, how dare you say? You have some number of ashrams, even that is not your property. Baba smiled and said, if I express myself that I will be in your house today, will you deny me that privilege? No. You will give me the best place to stay, as if I am the owner of that house. Think how many houses I have in that way in America, in other continents, and India as well. Not possessing a single residence, not possessing a single apartment, not possessing a single building, but his concept of houses available to him is wonderful. It is said, the monks, the renouncers, they should sleep under the tree, on the shades of the tree. They can sleep, pass the night in the temple, in a church, in a synagogue, in a monastery. But what do you think though? What do you think now? Now everybody wants a house, every luxurious house. Must be all furnished, all the modern facilities. Nobody is ready to go for any compromise at all. In fooding, in clothing, in housing, each one of us wants to prove that I am not an ordinary animal. I am not an ordinary bird. I am a very beautiful human being. I am possessive by nature. This is the march of Odisha, march of the spirit of civilization. Yes, I remember. There is a kind of bird. They go for house building also. That bird's house building, engineering skill is really very beautiful, worth envying. No engineering college for the birds, but the instinct has given him the training. The instinct has given him that intellectualism, that engineering spirit to build a house, waterproof, airproof. Wonderful. A few birds. Others, they have very open nests, ordinary residences. They are the real monks. But in the case of our life, fooding, in that arena, there is competition. So we need more possessions. In the arena of clothing, there is more fashion, more designs, and there is competition, and there is possession. Unimaginable number of quantity and the quality of possessions. In housing, the same thing. Now come to the other area. How to be dispossessed of these unnecessary burdens, the burdens of invisible possession in the memory, the chitta, and to be dispossessed of the unnecessary visible property, visible apartments, and visible possessions. How? I'll tell you 3 stories. We have understood what is this possession, mind-boggling the spirit of possession. Now we shall listen to 3 great masters that may help us to go for limited possession, to be dispossessed of unnecessary competitive possessions, to be distinguished from pride, jealousy, envy, and display of vulgar wealth. The story of our beloved Gurudev. living in a rented house in the neighborhood of the Kararashram. Gradually is getting ready, preparing himself to enter into that of the Kararashram to lead the real brahmachari's life. His penance is to begin. He was Sahib Baba of Anandmai. He was a very wonderful look, very fair, very healthy, very handsome, perfectly Sahib Baba. He had also very beautiful, luxurious clothing. On the eve of which, stepping into the Kararashram, he made a wonderful, dispassionate bonfire of all such clothing possessions. In a second, they were gone. The fire of renunciation burned into ashes all his unwanted possessions. Beloved Gurudev began his journey of the disposition, journey of the renunciation from that great moment. Of course, Sri Guruji used to say, when he had submitted his resignation letter and unwilling to go for that and working against it, requesting the postman to give it back, that was a moment of his dilemma. But he decided correctly, and that was really a moment of vairagya in his life. But this bonfire of clothing perfectly solidified is a fire of renunciation within. If we look to the life of Mahatma Gandhi, he has joined Indian politics, Indian National Congress, but before that he's making a preparation. As per the advice of the Guru, he's moving around the country, the subcontinent. Through that journey, he comes across various sins and miseries. And now he's also going for renunciation. At one place, he was about to drink water from that of a water mass and saw a mother at a distant place with shabby clothing, limited apron. Why should I have such a bigger cloth? Unnecessarily using as a turban on my head, can't I live without the possession? Abandoning the turban, the first game of renunciation in his life. Moving from one place to another. He comes to that of Odisha. He asked one day to Pandit Nilakantha Das, how the peasants are wearing limited clothes. In the paddy field, they talk of the clothing so that the knee is visible. Oh, knee non-covering loin cloth. That should be my lifestyle. That is the moment where the so-called half-naked fakir was born in Delang village or Delang region of the district of Puri of Odisha. Abandoning unnecessary clothing from the body, from his house. Third, going back from the journey of India, he calls for his private secretary, Madhav Desai, call for a barber. Sir, you don't need a barber. I need a barber today. Call him, please. Gandhi sat down there. Hello, my barber friend. Shave my hairs of the head. Mundanam. Philosophic finalities, they talk of Mundanam. But Gandhi here thought of another kind of philosophy. I should renounce all my possessions, all my scope of luxury, scope of possession. I shall lead a simple life, austere life with the discipline If I, as a leader, shall lead a life of discipline without any unnecessary possessions, then can command the mass to go for limited use of the limited things. Then there will be no discontentment in the national life. The story of Gandhi. Turban gun, loincloth is adopted, mundanam, head seven. People say the most ugliest, he looks most ugliest if you really think from the point of physical beauty. No teeth, no clothing, a half-naked fakir standing with a staff, father of the nation. Lovelier warrior of the non-violence, lovelier warrior of Satyagraha, world admires, adores, and history salutes such a man, a half-naked fakir, dispossessed. Vedic civilization, during the Vedic civilization, there is a demand for that of this prosperity, balanced prosperity. They also thought of navigation, overseas visions. I remember two important instructions of the Vedic literature. Sarvam panehi samabindanta. The enterprising man only can gain all kinds of wealth and prosperity through their ceaseless endeavor. It's endeavor for possessions. But such possessions should not be kept forever. Such possessions should be garnered for yourself, for your family, and the surplus for the society. That is the synthesis. That is the thesis behind Sarvam Pane Samabindanta. In another instruction, Tiram Samudra Mojasa. O man, sail into the sea, conquer it, conquer the waves, reach the other shore, connect yourself, have interactions, mingling with the mankind. Not for colonialism, not for exploitation, not for conquering others. However, mingling with each other. You can't blame Columbus, you can't blame Vasco da Gama for having explored sea route from one continent to another continent. We might have misused it, that is different, but because of the two great navigators, two continents were explored. Sea route to India and Asia was explored. Civilization was really helped to be prosperous. Now, a small story from the history of India to tell you how man can become dispossessed, remembering Harshavardhana. He was an emperor of India. In intervals, he used to conduct a Rajasya Yajna of different kinds. At the end of Yajna, when the Purna, the final oblation, is offered into the fire, he will donate all his possessions. To the extent that he will not be having his own personal clothing. His sister Rajasri gave him a piece of clothing, a sari. King Harshavardhana adopted that sari and gave up everything, giving up everything for the cause of welfare of all. There lies Aparigraha. Release the unnecessary things from your home. Release unnecessary things from your heart for the cause of the march of Aparigraha, non-possession. Under the flag of Asteya, under the flag of Aparigraha, we can lead to a different system, a different path, a different region where there will be peace, where there will be loving peace, where there will be bliss and joy for eternity. Thank you all. God bless you all.